The wind whispers secrets through fields of gold, secrets only sunflowers understand, bending their heavy heads in silent agreement. A storm brews within, a tempest of colors swirling, churning, longing to break free, to paint itself across the canvas of the world. It is the storm that paints, the storm that births stars from the darkest night, the storm that carves beauty from the heart of anguish. Inside, a mind ablaze, a landscape scorched by loneliness, yet blooming with an unyielding faith. The colors dance, they fight, they embrace. A symphony of the soul played out in strokes of feverish intensity. Yellows scream of sunlight stolen from a dying day. Blues echo the vast, unfathomable depths of the night. Greens whisper of a hope that stubbornly refuses to wither. He saw the world differently, felt it more keenly. Tasted the bitterness of its sorrows and the fleeting sweetness of its joys with an intensity that bordered on madness. The world was a mirror, reflecting back the chaos and the beauty that raged within him. And he, in turn, became a mirror for the world, showing it the hidden faces of its own soul. A solitary cypress, reaching for a sky bruised with twilight, a testament to resilience, to the quiet strength that blossoms in the face of adversity. It stands tall, a dark sentinel against the fading light, a silent witness to the endless drama of the human heart. And in its branches, the wind sings a song of solace, a promise of dawn. He sought the light, always the light, even when shadows threatened to consume him whole. He painted it with a desperation born of darkness, a longing for something pure and untainted in a world he perceived as broken. The light was not merely illumination, it was salvation, redemption, a way out of the labyrinth of his own despair. The small things, the overlooked moments, the ordinary miracles, these were his treasures. A humble pair of boots, worn and weathered, spoke volumes of a life lived close to the earth, a life of toil and sweat and quiet dignity. A simple vase of sunflowers, bursting with defiant joy, became a symbol of hope in the face of overwhelming sadness. The silence was deafening, a vast, echoing emptiness that amplified the slightest whisper of doubt, the faintest tremor of fear. But within that silence, he found a strange kind of peace, a space where he could commune with his own soul, where he could listen to the voice of his inner demons and find a way to transform them into art. He walked alone through fields of shimmering wheat, beneath skies ablaze with stars, a pilgrim on a quest for meaning, for connection, for a glimpse of the divine. He stumbled, he fell, he rose again, his spirit unbroken, his vision undimmed. He carried his cross with a grace that belied the weight of his suffering. The storm raged, but it also cleansed. It tore down the walls of his defenses, stripped him bare, exposed his vulnerability. And in that vulnerability, he found his strength, his truth, his art. The storm was not his enemy. It was his muse, his collaborator, the force that drove him to create. He left behind a legacy of beauty, a testament to the power of the human spirit to transcend suffering, to find meaning in the midst of chaos, to transform pain into art. His paintings are not merely images, they are windows into his soul, glimpses of the storm that painted, the storm that birthed a universe of color and light. And in that universe, we find a reflection of ourselves, our own struggles, our own hopes, our own longing for something more. The wind howled through the cypress trees, twisting their ancient limbs into tormented shapes, mirroring the turmoil within. He saw faces in the clouds, faces of angels and demons, faces of loved ones lost and strangers never met. Each face a story, each story a brushstroke on the canvas of his mind. He yearned to capture them all, to translate the ephemeral beauty of the moment into something tangible, something lasting. The sun beat down upon the fields, turning the wheat into molten gold. A sea of shimmering light that stretched to the horizon. He felt a kinship with the wheat, bending and swaying in the wind, resilient, unyielding, drawing strength from the earth. He closed his eyes and imagined himself as a seed, buried deep within the darkness, waiting for the moment to sprout, to reach for the light, to blossom into something beautiful. The nights were long and lonely, filled with the mournful cries of unseen creatures. He sat by the window, watching the stars blaze in the inky sky, feeling both insignificant and infinitely connected to the vastness of the universe. Each star a distant sun, each sun a potential world, each world a mystery waiting to be unveiled. He felt the weight of existence pressing down upon him, the burden of unanswered questions, the ache of unfulfilled desires. But even in the depths of despair, he clung to the hope that tomorrow would bring a new dawn, a new opportunity to create, to express, to find solace in the beauty of the world. The colors swirled within him, a kaleidoscope of emotions, a symphony of sensations. He saw the world in a way that others could not, a world saturated with light and shadow, a world teeming with life and death, a world both beautiful and brutal, both terrifying and sublime. He felt the pulse of the earth beneath his feet, the rhythm of the seasons, the ebb and flow of life. He was a conduit, a vessel through which the energy of the universe flowed, transforming into art. He walked the dusty roads, a solitary figure, a stranger in a strange land. He was misunderstood, ridiculed, rejected, but he did not falter. He knew that his art was his purpose, his salvation, his legacy. He painted with a feverish intensity, driven by an inner fire that consumed him, that propelled him forward, that refused to be extinguished. He saw the suffering in the eyes of the poor, the weariness in the faces of the farmers, the loneliness in the hearts of the outcasts. He wanted to give voice to the voiceless, to shine a light on the forgotten corners of the world, to reveal the beauty hidden within the ordinary. He painted the darkness, not because he was afraid of it, but because he knew that it held the key to understanding the light. He painted the stars, not because they were distant and unattainable, but because they represented hope, inspiration, the possibility of something beyond. He painted himself, not because he was vain, but because he knew that his own struggles, his own triumphs, his own humanity were universal. The brush danced across the canvas, a whirlwind of color and emotion, a testament to the power of the human spirit. He poured his heart and soul into every stroke, every line, every shade. He painted until he could paint no more, until his body was exhausted, until his mind was at peace. And when he was finished, he stepped back and gazed upon his creation, a silent prayer of gratitude, a humble offering to the world. A silent dialogue began between the painting and the soul, between the storm and the calm, between the artist and the universe. He heard a whisper, a faint echo of understanding, a promise of redemption. And in that moment, he knew that he was not alone, that he was connected to something larger than himself, that he was part of a grand, eternal tapestry. The sunflowers bowed their heads in silent reverence. The cypress trees swayed in gentle unison. The stars twinkled with infinite compassion. And the storm finally began to subside, leaving behind a sky washed clean, a world reborn. The fields of gold whispered secrets to the wind, secrets of perseverance, of resilience, of the enduring tower of hope. He sought solace in the simplicity of things, in the rugged beauty of the countryside, in the quiet companionship of the stars. He learned to listen to the language of the earth, to decipher the hidden meanings in the rustling leaves, the murmuring streams, the chirping crickets. He found God in the smallest of details, in the intricate patterns of a butterfly's wing, in the delicate petals of a wildflower, in the gentle curve of a blade of grass. He embraced the imperfections, the flaws, the scars that made each thing unique, each being beautiful. He saw the beauty in the brokenness, the strength in the vulnerability, the light in the darkness. He understood that true beauty lies not in perfection, but in authenticity, in the raw, unfiltered expression of the soul. The crows took flight, black specks against a cerulean sky, symbols of freedom, of transformation, of the eternal cycle of life and death. He watched them soar, their wings catching the light, their cries echoing through the valleys. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always the possibility of flight, the promise of a new beginning. He dreamt of a world where everyone could see the beauty that he saw, where everyone could feel the love that he felt, where everyone could understand the interconnectedness of all things. He longed to share his vision, to awaken the hearts of others, to inspire them to create, to love, to live with passion and purpose. He painted with a feverish intensity, driven by an unquenchable thirst for beauty, for truth, for meaning. He knew that his time was limited, that the storm within was consuming him, but he refused to surrender. He refused to be defeated. He would paint until his last breath, until his last drop of blood, until his soul took flight. He understood the weight of loneliness, the sting of rejection, the bitterness of despair. He knew what it was like to be an outcast, to be misunderstood, to be ridiculed. But he also knew the power of forgiveness, the healing balm of compassion, the transformative grace of love. He chose to focus on the light, to cultivate joy, to embrace hope. He found solace in the belief that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of light, a spark of hope, a reason to keep going. The wind carried his whispers of faith, carrying them to the sleeping villages, the bustling cities, the remote corners of the earth, a message of hope to those who were lost, a beacon of light to those who were struggling. The colors swirled, a symphony of light and shadow, a dance of joy and sorrow, a testament to the complexity and beauty of the human experience. He captured the fleeting moments, the ephemeral emotions, the transient beauty that often goes unnoticed. He painted the invisible, the intangible, the spiritual essence of things. He gave form to the formless, voice to the voiceless, sight to the blind. He left behind a legacy that transcends time and space, a legacy of beauty, of truth, of love. His paintings continue to inspire, to challenge, to heal. They are a reminder that even in the midst of suffering, there is always the possibility of transcendence, the potential for transformation, the promise of redemption. And as the sun sets, casting long shadows across the fields, we can almost hear his laughter in the wind, feel his presence in the stars, see his soul reflected in the sunflowers, a timeless echo of the storm that paints, a whisper of eternity.